Hello, and welcome to my presentation on the 1-6-2-5 chord progression. And we're going to use an example in the key of C to talk about this. The 1-6-2-5 chord progression would be chords built off of C, A, D, and G. And if you don't know this already, the Roman numerals are here to indicate the quality of the chord, uppercase meaning major and lowercase meaning minor. In any major key, the 1 and the 5 are going to be major, and the 6 and the 2 are going to be minor chords. And that is a function of how the scale is constructed. So these would be the root notes of each chord, the 1, the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 2, 1, 2, and the 5. The other notes in each chord that make them major or minor in C would be E and G, and then in A would be C and then E. In D would be F and A, and then in G would be B. Oops, I'll keep one here. G, B, and then skip over the C to D. These right here form the full chords, the 1, 6, 2, and 5. So it's important to note that once again the C is major, the A and the D are minor, and the G is major. In major and minor chords, the outside notes form perfect fifths, whether they are major or minor. In the case of C, the E makes it a major chord. In the case of A, C makes it a minor chord. If this were a C sharp, it would be a major chord, but the A and the E would be the same. In other words, it's the middle note that determines whether or not this is major or minor. And on the guitar, we look at these patterns as fifths or power chords. So on C, we would have, for example, C and, that's not C, this is C, and that is G, so we would have a C there. We also have a C here, and the G being right there. So either of these spots would form a power chord or a fifth. It's an interval of a fifth. Sometimes on the guitar it's called the power chord. This would be the C. We have the next chord being the A, and it would take on the same shape. We could do it here. This would also take place right here since that's an A. That's an A. And then the open string is A, so then the second fret would also be here. So all along here we have duplicate pattern. And then the D is going to happen on the 10th fret here, and its fifth is A, so the D also happens right here, and its fifth fret is A, and then it also happens, the open D string is right there as well. And then finally our G chord, we have a G, and then its fifth is the D. That G also happens right there. So these are the 5 or the 4 power chords of the 1-6-2-5. And their positions in terms of where they are can be memorized or counted by, you know, doing the whole scale on a single string. Um, when it comes to basic progressions and natural notes, a lot of times people recognize them in this area because of their relationship to the first few chords you learn, but not necessarily in this area. So it's good to make note of those and kind of anchor in those uh, new positions into your mind because they'll be good reference points for the future. So, in addition to where these chords are, since this is a C right here, then we also have the C on the opposite side because these are both the same tuned string. When we have that here, the fifth also takes place directly behind it. It's an inverse, but that is the fifth. And this position right here is an octave, so that's what makes it similar. The A, we have that right here, and then the D, A would be right there, and then our G, which would be here, and its D would be right there. We can also take this, move it down to the 15th fret, and then we have our fifth on the low end, our fifth on the high end for all of these chords. It's a good practice to take blank staff paper, or excuse me, chord diagrams and write these out if this is, you know, the progression that you are analyzing, to write these out for yourself as you're doing them, or if you have, you know, the graphic presentation display to do that, then you can do that as well. So the other aspect of these chords are the thirds that are built in it, and these would be the thirds. So each chord is built up of two sets of thirds. We have our C chord, which has C, E, G, and so if we break that into thirds, we have C and E, and then E and G, and then here we have A and C for the A minor chord, and then C and E. And then for the D chord, we have D and F and A, and the G chord, G and B and D. So each one of these are its own thing. This is a third. This is a third. So in major chords are constructed by two different types of thirds, a major third and then a minor third. So C to E is a major third, E to G is a minor third. The minor chord is the opposite. The first third is a minor third, and the second third is a major third. Well, you can see that because this is a major third and that's a major third, and they're the same notes. So this is a minor chord. That means this would be a minor third and this would be a major third. And then finally, the last major chord, the 5 chord, would be major third, then minor third here. So if we take a look at how these present themselves on the guitar, we see we have the C and the E twice, the F and the A, which is the back end of the minor chord, which is a major third, and then the G and the B. Take a look here. Oops. Sorry for that. Gotta lock that in so I don't delete it. So the C here has its major third right next to it. The F here has its major third right next to it, right there. And that's A. And again, you can verify these notes by counting in half steps or in scale steps. And then the G and the B look like this. So these are our 3 major thirds. Remember, the front end of a major chord, the 1 and the 5, are major thirds. The back end of a minor chord is a major third. And the other one we have here is a duplicate of this one. So major third, major third, major third, major third. And when we put the notes together, they all look like this right here. So then what minor thirds do we have? We have E and G, we have A and C, we have D and F, and then we have B and D. So each one of these are different, E, A, D, and then B. So what do those look like on these two strings right here? Oops. So on this string right here, we have E, and the G would be right here. And then we have the A, which is right here, and C would be right there. And then we have the D, which is right here, and its F would be right there. And then we have B, which is right here, and the D would be right here. So we can see that these all have a shape that are similar, and these are all the minor thirds, the E and the G, the A and the C, the D and the F, and the B and the D. So if we were going to play those in order, E, A, D, and B, we would be here, here, E, A, D, and B. I guess it'd be easier to see it like this. E, A, D, and then B, and so you can keep the same fingering with that as well. Important to note that when we do intervals on the G string moving to the B string, they take on a different shape than any other string. When, for instance, this E right here, the G is normally in that position. If E is here, G is there. If E is here, the G is the open string. And then additionally, if E is here, G is there. It's only when E is here that G is right there, and that's because the B string, we have to bring everything. So what's normally like this, if it lands on the B string or crosses over it, it has to come up one. So once again, we have looked at the 4 chords in a 1-6-2-5 chord progression. We've taken apart their fifths and looked at their positions on the guitar, and then taken apart each chord for its thirds and looked at them separately with the understanding that C to E, F to A, G to B are the major thirds, and then E to G, A to C, D to F, and B to D are the minor thirds in the chord. Again, it's advisable to take blank sheets and analyze um, chord changes, what you're, what with whatever you plan um, to do with them, and write out patterns that you hope to find on the guitar or play along to that pattern. From there, practicing it and writing them down yourself will lead you to better memory for these, or just watching it several times over and practicing it on your instrument while uh, taking note of what you're doing, what the interval is, and what the note names are. I hope that helps. I hope that helps you navigate the 1-6-2-5 chord progression in a few key areas on the guitar. Again, this is a 1-6-2-5 chord progression for the key of C. Let me know what you think and hope you enjoy practicing. Thank you.